Nursing has taught me another harsh truth. And the harsh truth is that you are only one bad day away from losing your mind. And when you sit down and you actually think about it, that's like, that's a crazy reality, because not only are you just one bad day, you one bad patient, you one bad unsafe assignment, you are one personal tragedy away from losing your mind. I mean, that's literally like all it takes. And in this profession, you give and you give and you give and you give until there's nothing left. And then somehow you are expected to give it back. You dig what I'm saying? You are expected to come back and smile and do your job and be a professional the next day like nothing happened. And I've seen nurses who have been absolutely solid 4 years. I'm talking about dependable, confident, respected. And then one day they just break. It happens. And it happens more often than you think. But the funny thing about that is that it's rare that it's just one big moment. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one incident that day that just sent that person over. Oh, my bad, y'all. That was my other phone that fell. It's not just one big thing that just happened over the day. It's usually like years of pressure, years of guilt, years of exhaustion, years of stacking up until one of the smallest things, a rude patient, I don't know, an unfair assignment, the way a manager is talking crazy to you, and that just sends a person over the edge. And I've seen it happen many times. And it can be that one shift that changes everything. So that is why I preach having your limits. You have to take care of yourself as a nurse. And nursing tests those limits. They test them every single day. And me being a psych nurse, it's definitely opened my eyes. I've taken care of doctors. I've taken care of lawyers. I've taken care of business owners, engineers, other nurses, and all different kind of specialties that had and came with money and status and success. And you just looking on the outside in. And now they somehow ended up to where they are no longer the provider. They are no longer the caregiver, but they are now the ones being cared for. And let's just keep it real. There's nothing wrong with being cared for. There's nothing wrong with being a provider and being somebody that seeks help. But it's a very real thing. And mental breakdowns, they don't care about your income. They don't care about your title. They don't care about what you do. They don't discriminate. Anybody can have a mental breakdown, and you just one bad day away. And nobody ever thinks it'll be them until it is them. I mean, listen, not only from the outside world, where you have like social media and the judgment that comes upon nurses, with that and everything that goes on in your personal life and in your professional life, you have to smile. When you breaking on the inside, you're holding pressure on somebody's wound and they bleeding, and you gotta think to yourself, how do I keep it all together and everything like that during this time where I'm breaking on the inside. You know what I'm saying? And every single shift, you absorbing trauma and other people's pain and fear. And then a lot of y'all go home and pretending that everything's okay. And it's not. You know what I'm saying? If you don't find a positive way to release it, it'll eventually come back to you. And that will have a negative spillover. And that could cause a breakdown. And I never truly saw how real that was until I got into... I mean, I saw it before psych nursing, but when you are in psych nursing, it makes it that much more real. And, I'll be honest with you. I'm one of the type of cats that I believe a man should work 60 hours a week that he's getting paid for. And, especially if he's broke. Because, if you don't want an average life, you have to pay a not average price. You dig what I'm saying? But that's the lane that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I'm in that lane. I'm chasing excellence. I don't want comfort. But even with that mindset, I still know my limits. You dig what I'm saying? And nursing will teach you that. I know my limits. I know what I can do, and I know what I can't do. And knowing your limits is nothing wrong with knowing your limits. You dig what I'm saying? And that's the difference between grinding and self-destruction. Because once your mind goes, then the money and the hustle, it don't matter. And being in this game, I've really learned how fragile the human mind is. It's very fragile, and people you would never think would break and would do something to themselves and even possibly self-harm themselves. They do. You dig what I'm saying? And you have to be careful. Positive outlets and caring for yourself is so important as a healthcare individual. Nurses, CNAs, doctors, whatever you're doing. 9 times out of 10, in most cases, our jobs are very thankless. And not only can they be thankless, they can also be detrimental to our own health, to our own reputation. Because one mistake, one wrong move can cost us everything. And we have to be careful. I've seen millionaires, I've seen influencers, I've seen professionals lose touch with reality. And the stress and the grief will cause them to break. Hell, even heartbreak, losing relationships. I've seen plenty of professionals where they say their spouse is divorcing them, and boom, it caused them to break. And it made me realize that we're just all one tragedy away, one sleepless week away, or one loss away from breaking down. And the only difference is between them and us is how much we've already had to carry. That's literally the only difference. That's literally the only difference. So that is why I have to guard my peace like I guard my license. That I have to, because if I don't, it'll break. And I cherish my peace. I don't have no fussing, no negative energy, none of that in my home. I don't chase burnout. I don't glorify exhaustion. I pray, I rest. I disconnect when I need to. I still get to the bag, though. Don't get it twisted. You dig what I'm saying? Because I do feel like I'm built different. But I know my limits. And because I've seen what happens when you ignore a breaking point, I refuse to be another nurse who gave away everything to this field, including my sanity. I won't do it. I will not do it. And that is why it's so important to have a plan when you get in this field. And it's important to have a plan that'll cause you to get out the field if you need to. Because if you don't, that can also cause you to lose your mind. So y'all better be careful when y'all working. Y'all have to know y'all limits, and you have to know when enough is enough. If you're dealing with combative patients, if you're dealing with coworkers that are causing drama and all kind of mental strain to you, it's okay to be like, you know what? I need a breather. Let me walk away from this situation, or let me just get through this shift and never come back and have to deal with this again. That's okay, because I'd rather you do that and walk away versus being a patient on the other side and it affected you. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a patient, because we all need help. But what I am saying is that there are some things that we can avoid and we should avoid so we don't break, because we are all just one bad day away. Guard your peace, protect your mental, and really take care of yourself. Anyway, my name is CJ, aka the High Value Nurse, checking in once again, back with another video. And if you don't do nothing else, get paid. Young nerds get paid. I'll let you in a minute. Go to the highvaluenurse.com, get the brand new ebook. Well, it's not brand new, but get the ebook, get some shirts. I'm holler at you in a minute. Love you. Peace.